Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome as we are live here from Long Beach for the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors, presented by Ray Esports as part of the usual Weekend Warrior doubleheader here on a Sunday evening, or even maybe a Sunday morning, or a Monday morning even for some of you out there. But first off, before we get into proceedings, let's take a look at the championship standings as we head into only 2 rounds left after tonight, and in S1 it's Jason Green leading the way. A rejuvenating Green, and of course has picked up a previous championship in the Formula Fords, but yeah, only picking up so far 1 race win to his name. That was all the way back at Rennsport 3 rounds ago. See whether we can do the same tonight. Christian Kabanka, who ironically won last time out at Road America, is in 2nd place with Aero Nom, who's himself picked up 3 victories this season, but only finds himself 3rd due to not attending every round. Michael McConnell's 4th with Jeff Jacobson on for a really strong 5th position, with Harris, Ball, Overstreet, Hendrickson and Carvalho rounding out your top 10. Across into Spec 2 now, and well, this has been a really interesting fight all season long between Montgomery and Kramer. However, due to no Montgomery for the last 2 rounds, Trenton Kramer's really extended that lead out in front of him, the 444 machine. Well, nearly magical there on 449 points. Couldn't quite make it onto 444. I think a lot of us would have loved that one. But last week, up 10 places overall at Road America. Got lucky in the traffic. Oh, wow. Really cementing things at the top. Over 50 points clear at Paul Stevens, who's in 2nd place. He's only finished 2nd once this season, ironically. Tim Stano's 3rd with Montgomery, Litbacker Payne, Lorio, Guard, Fernandez and Scott rounding up the top 10 there. Across the Masters now, and well, Yorgmani has won every single round apart from Mosport when Antonio Reyes picked up the victory. Due to that dominant form, needless to say, he's out in front and by an absolute country mile, nearly 200 points of Chris Murakami, who himself has had a few podiums, but maybe not the season that he would have hoped for potentially in the Masters class, but still good enough in that consistency of being just outside the top 3. Get him into 2nd. Alan Degasius, he lies 3rd, but only 4 points ahead of Gary Warbolt in 4th. Antonio Reyes, who's well, had a strong start to the season, but a little bit turbulent, has dropped down to 5th place. Cathcart is 6th with Ray, Brewster, Love and Bowes rounding out your top 10 there. But as always, welcome along Charles Michel. We were talking about it, weren't we, before the broadcast? This is either going to be one of those races, isn't it? Because with Long Beach, it either goes through, drama-free, and it's a great race, or there's a pile-up, because it's so treacherous, so many danger points on this circuit with blind entry, and, well, if someone losing it, you've got no chance of reacting, because there's a roadblock and there's nowhere to go.
Tim, thanks for allowing me to be part of this. And I was sitting there watching the practice and qualifying, and just Samula gives some great video just as we're sitting here waiting, the scenic views. As I'm looking at the fountain as we're coming up with Michael McConnell, there's the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company sitting right there right there at the corner. And to paraphrase Mr. Gump's mama, Long Beach is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. So, it could be a great race with a dramatic finish by milliseconds, or we could just be in a big pile in the fountain. And this could be probably one way or the other. But either way, it's going to be some excitement involved in it, to be sure.
Well, there you go. Michael McConnell, the racing gods on his side there. As I wasn't too sure who that was. I think it might have been Montgomery. Good to see him back if it is him. Although not quite the vein that he would have wished to have been in. So McConnell on a solid lap here. Personal best in sectors 1 and 2 from him. I can tell you, Yang Shi Lin, who's our provisional pole setter, is going faster on his lap, but he is being hunted down by one Aero Nom.
Arrow seems like he's, every time he gets on the track, he's in just very, very good form. And he's, I'm sure if he ends up, we get an interview with him after the race, I'm sure he'll end up like, I just got out here this morning. I didn't really own the track. And, I just jumped into practice and I started setting fast laps because that seems to be his main modus operandi, if you want to call it that. But, Yang Shilin is obviously a very adept driver, when he's out on the track in either one of the Weekends Warrior races. He's usually up near the front, so it's no surprise that he's sitting on pole for the time being. Then, of course, Green, Cabanca, Race, Monty, McConnell. I mean, it's just going to be, it's a who's who, as we normally see, and we'll see how it all ends up. I'm really excited to see the race. Because it is one of those wild card races. This little street circuit's very, very difficult to get around, much less master. So it's going to be a treat, I'm sure.
I was just sat here thinking when you're saying about Lynn and was that a bit of a? No, I think it could have been okay there. It's a bit hard to tell between the suspension creaking and yearning across some of the curbs versus a clip of the wall, but I sat here thinking, and I struggled to beat it really. Where Lynn and Nom, in low power cars, across all of them, quite possibly two of the best drivers on the whole of the iRacing service. I can't think of anything they're not good in. Whenever you see them, a starter boat just moves up to 11th there. Here they are tonight. Great to have them both with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I think we normally see Yangshi in the spec racer more than we see the Formula Fords, but I think he probably feels like this is a good track combination to go with this car, and obviously with his exploits in the SCCA runoffs last year, you're absolutely right. You get these low power cars, and he is just absolutely a monster on the track in them.
Well, yeah, and then we've got Nom, who's holds I think he managed to hit 6 or 7 championships in the SRF Weekend Warriors. They're our highest championship holder. And fascinating. And then, we've got all of, the usual gang, shall we say, who can all hold a candle to him. Here's one of them, Jason Green, currently sharing, our championship leader in Masters. Sharing second row with him is York Marnie. Spec 2, Benjamin Harris is your fastest. No, he's not. Apologies, because he's changed around an iRating. So here's Chris Montgomery back to the series. Back to showing Trenton Kramer how it's done in qualifying.
Yeah, I was just, we're talking about those. We were watching the the championship points, and we saw Tim Stano in P3 in the Spec 2 championship. Was last week maybe his first podium? And it just seems like he's not been the top. He's not been one of those guys that he's been conversation there week in and week out. But he seems like he's always there at the end.
So it was his first one of the season. I'm going to have to. We'll fill the time and keep an eye on what's going on. I'll dig through the archive, Charles, of who's who and whether he has picked up one, because I think you could well be right on that one.
I mean, it seems like he's just been really, really consistent. He hasn't really been in the hunt for for championship or for race wins, but he's just consistently hanging around the edge of the podium week in and week out, and it's worked out for him. And he's been here every week, and that's been the biggest key to that.
Well, exactly. So last season, Tim Stano managed 4 third positions, couldn't get up into the second or even a win last season, including Road Atlanta, where he finished up 21 spots to finish third in that crazy race. We got to have the pleasure of witnessing. So he's one of those. He's been knocking on the door, but never quite cracked that second place so much. So great to see that bit of change in form where another driver, where it just all starts to be clicking together for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's good to see that. And he's jumped up to P1 in Spec 2. So so obviously he's done a really good job of kind of moving from back to front. So let's hope that he continues that winning strategy and just keeps moving forward during this race. It'd be awesome to see him get a class win out of this.
I think it's long overdue, but I don't want to put the curse of the commentator on him, especially with it being Long Beach.
Yeah.
So based on that reverse psychology, I hope you have a shocking race, Tim Stano.
One of us is going to be correct. I'm not sure which one at this point.
Well, exactly. It is Long Beach. It is the roll of the dice. But one thing we can guarantee is the checkered flag is out. That's not going to matter too much there for Montgomery. May as well give it up, see everything, and, well, you never quite know, but he found the wall on that attempt. Looking like we're going to have a Yangshi Lin on pole by just under a tenth over Aero Nom. Marnie second row of the grid with top in Masters. Stano, as you just mentioned, looking good for top qualifier in Spec 2 as McConnell just improves late on there. He's at 1 place, swapping around with Degasius. They both remain on the 4th row of the grid though. We change there. I'm not really seeing anyone who's going any quicker. I think, Marnie would have got across the line after the flag because he has gone faster in sectors 1 and 2, but that was post a checkered flag. This one driver I'm looking forward to see, Antonio Race, because if there's bad luck, he'll find it.
Yeah, it has been his kind of the season for him. He's we always talk about him because he's always seemingly qualifying, in the top 2 or 3 for the Masters, as we see him clunk the wall there, and just for good measure hits the other side just to even everything out. So it'd be interesting to see if he can get a good result out of the race. Obviously, he's had some bad luck during the races this year. And it seems like it's always been early. So he seems like he's one of those guys that just gets snake bit at the first couple of laps. And then it's a struggle to try and get back up near the front. So let's hope he has a good races today, because it's always good to see those Masters guys duking it out during the race.
It is indeed. And I was just thinking, of course, it was this weekend, the real life, that first 12 hours. Mike Campbell won on the Australians. Hashtag spoiler alert. Of course, we have our lone Australian in the field, Brad Cathcart. So hopefully he can transfer some of that, that goodness for the Aussies. And, with this being, our first part of it being like a street circuit, maybe all the karma will transpose across Fingers crossed for you, Brad. Here is your grid. Yangshi Lin on pole with Aero Non joining him on the front row. Then it's, as we mentioned, top qualifier in the Masters, Yorgmani on row 2 with Jason Green. Row 3 sees another Masters and Spec 1 row. In fact, we've got that for the next 3 rows. In fact, it's Banker race on row 3. Row 4, McConnell and DeGassius. Cracking qualifying from Alan. He's just getting better and better at qualifying. Benjamin Harris and Brad Cathcart running out your top 10. Row 6, that's Stevie Ray and top qualifying Spec 2, Tim Staino. While row 7s is Dana Bowes and Chris Montgomery on his return to championship after a couple of weeks away. Jimmy Litlacker is next to Jeff Jacobson on row 8, while row 9 is Jim Brewster and Bill Walker. Row 10, running out the top 20, it's an all Spec 2 row in the form of Paul Stevens and championship leader in Spec 2, Trenton Kramer. Gary Walbolt and Jeff Cantor make an all-Masters row 11. On row 12 is Greg Holland and Ben Depew, and who come up to the championship. Interesting to see how he gets on, although those two not setting times in qualifying. They will start at the back, although Depew hasn't joined the grid, so not sure whether he will join us. But we've seen some great runs from the rear this season. We're going to see another one here today.
It's very possible because we talked about it since the outset of the broadcast. It's a very tricky track, and you can see it. There's going to be trouble areas. This is one of them, the hairpin, the final corner going down to the front straight. It's always a little treacherous here, especially this first lap. So it's going to be everybody just being a little cautious. We see somebody come into the pits. Cathcart jumped in very, very quickly there.
Well, there was someone going very, very slow, but we are green. We are away as Lynn controls it, but look at the gaggle. Everyone queuing up to have a go here as we make our way down to turn 1. 10-year race looking initially a little bit crafty there. Norm covers things off, heads to the outside, tries to make it too wide, zips in nicely, but it's Cabank with our flying start up 2 places, making real progress here as we head into the fountain for the first time this evening. Jim Brewster up 4 already. Cathcart, as you mentioned, yeah, he's into the pits opening. I thought I caught someone just the final turn, just going a bit slow, maybe like they had a bit of a bump with someone. I think that was Brewster maybe scraping the wall here. But we all got away relatively safely, Charles, for now.
Yeah, for now. Exactly right. As we see Lynn out front. So I was just kind of watching Cathcart. He did pit. Maybe he forgot to switch over to race fuel and caught it at the last second.
Yes.
Said, you know what, I'll just jump into the pits and go ahead and fuel up. Now, interestingly enough, this is one of those tracks that you can fuel save, and it might be one of those. He might try to make a run from here and finish the race without stopping again. That's going to be interesting to watch.
Yes, I hadn't even thought of that prospect. You can do a lot of fuel saving around this place. Is it possible? Well, we're about to find out. In the and also, Cathcart, if there is a big one, well, a lot of it's going to be clear by the time he comes to it. Chris Montgomery's had a bit of a tap of the wall somewhere. And, well, everyone pretty much doing that. Walbolt and Holland too. There he goes, Brad Cathcart. The rear gunner, if you will, but he has dropped well over half a lap over the field. Here we go, so good luck to him. So intrigued to see how that one pans out for him as our lead group all still no detail. One long train all the way back to Jacobson in 16th before you get a gap bigger than a second, as I say that. Tim Staino fluttering on the edge of that. He's in 10th place. Other than that, Jacobson, well, he's just closed his up. So there we go, all the way down to 20th now, which is Gary Walbolt.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward so far. A very clean start to the race. So, yes, this now settled in. And
is that? Oh, no, sorry, I thought I saw smoke, and I thought I saw the camera angle not moving there. I panicked. We're okay, don't worry.
It's all right. So we see Cabanca's already up 2 spots. Monty's dropped down a couple positions, and so now it's going to be Monty and Race. That'll be an interesting little race amongst those two to see who's going to get that Masters class victory and see if Race can get his second one. Oh, we do have a spin, and that is Stevie Ray. Oh, bad place.
It's never a good thing to be pointing in the wrong direction at this place.
Yeah, so coming down shoreline here, the back stretch. and just over rotates and loses the rear. And oh, nice job of avoiding that. I couldn't catch who that was behind him, but great job of just getting and just being able to avoid that spin. That was fantastic driving by those guys.
I think it was Chris Montgomery who was right behind him. Who just, I still don't know quite. Oh, is that Sid team? Oh. And that's slow off the corner there. As Dynapose leaving more time, more places. Oh, and Kramer getting ever so close to banging wheels there with the Canadian, but makes his way through. Avos is caught offline, lost momentum, and it costs so many places. That really showcasing what happens here.
Yeah, it really does. This track, there are some, as you see right here, this little short stretch or short straight is wide enough you can do some side-by-side racing there, but there's a lot of these corners where you can't. You just almost have to be single file because these cars, obviously, we've seen it with wheel-to-wheel contact, how basically you get a couple of bumps like that, you've got wheel damage, suspension damage, and your race is over at that point.
Oh, the spin. Oh, yep. And it's Jacobson into the wall, but I think he's going to get out. Oh, is that broken? Yeah, broken suspension. I'm seeing.
Yeah, that, we talked about there's some tricky corners here as we're coming into hairpin, but that little corner off of Shoreline, that little right-hander, where you're having to brake and arrest your speed, the inside curbs are just very tricky, and I know these cars don't always like dealing with curbs, and it's kind of those that's not really a full curb. It's kind of just like it's kind of disjointed. It's similar to this one right here on the inside, where it's a very tricky little angle and a very tricky little corner, and the exit of that corner kind of tightens up on you, so you really have to be careful. We've seen a couple of spins there already in the race.
Of course, coming up this evening in around about, well, a good hour and a half time, well, it's close to 2 hours in fact, we've got for you the SRFs as we head to a track that we're on to a Roval, a track we've never been to before. I'm looking forward to that one. Make sure you tune in for that one, a track that's never run on the iRacing service, so at New Hampshire. Looking forward to that one. But at the moment, I'll come back after that really racing looking start. It's just slotted into third, and that's done nothing. But this top five are pulling away from McConnell, who's in sixth. That gap now 3 seconds, well, nearly 3.5 in fact. But this group all trading fastest laps. Green just setting the fastest lap of the race across the line, 126.34. Well, the spread across everyone's lap time is what, about just under a 10.5 between our top five. I mean, that's consistency between a lot of them, really.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at I think just about every driver had a personal best that last lap, with the exception of maybe 3. And notice that Race has dropped down. He's down to P8, and he was right behind Monty there just a couple of laps ago. So, wonder what happened. He's lost, at least 3 seconds on the track and a couple of positions. So it's kind of interesting how that battle has changed in just a very short amount of time.
Well, he's not had a crash. Samili's found something though.
Yep.
It's all my replays are slightly bugging out. So
yeah.
Well, the trouble is, you get caught offline, don't you, around here, and it just hurts you so badly.
Yeah, I just couldn't really see anything from that. Looked like it already fallen. So Samuli is giving us a little heads up, saying it was in turn 1. So maybe it was maybe bounced off the or took too much of the inside curb, or bounced off of the tire barrier on the outside. Seems to happen frequently. It's another one of those little tricky little corners that you have to worry about.
Now down in 8th position, as you mentioned, with Degasius, who's lying second in class now. Ahead of him, and Michael McConnell just leading this little 3-car group. Spec 2, that's still being led by Tim Staino. He's up 3 spots with Montgomery up 4. Okay. Oh, no, there's a spinner, and that's slip back here, isn't it? Yes, it is. Swede around, and has he hit the wall? There we go. I don't know about you, Charles, but replay's working this time. This good
Yep.
news. Let's find out. Into turn 1. Too much speed. Oh, no,
Yeah.
lost it on entry.
Yeah, I lost it on the entry. I don't know if maybe the front tires clipped the inside curb or not, but yeah, just looped the rear around, and luckily didn't look like he hit anything, so he was able to continue on, which is always good. But yeah, these same as Race is what Samuli is telling me. So Race did something very similar to that. So anyway, it's that's another one of those corners that, when you're driving, I guess, GT cars or prototypes, you want to just take as much of the track as you can on corner exit to just get that good run out of the corner. But you can't really do that here because you've got tire barriers that are kind of protecting you from hitting concrete walls. And they just kind of jut out in just the worst possible position. So, if you're trying to flare that corner out, as you can see it there in turn 1, if you carry too much speed, or if you miss the apex on the inside, you run a very high risk of bouncing it off of the tire barriers. You can see another one, Montgomery and Stano. Wow.
On top. Oh, is he hit?
Yep.
No, he's just slowed to get away. I think it's okay. No damage for Stano. But our top 2, Inspect 2.
Looks like we're going to get a replay with a different car. This is looking like.
It is looking like that. So, Stano in the foreground. It's synchronized.
So Montgomery spun, I think, in reaction to Stano, because I think Stano actually did hit the tire barrier that we were just talking about. So I think maybe Montgomery was a lock up and loop the car, just kind of making sure that he could avoid Stano there as he was bouncing off the tire barrier.
Montgomery, despite all that, Charles, still second in class, but has promoted Trenton Kramer up 10 spots into 10th now, from 20th on the grid into the class lead. He's up 5 spots in class 2. Paul Steedham's up 2 spots in class onto the podium for him in Spec 2. That Spec 2 battle is really hotting up as there's Antonio Race into the pits, and he can get home on this. It's very, very early, but not unfeasible as Harrison's as well.
Yeah, no, I think getting home from here is probably going to be fairly easy. I don't think you'll have to do a lot of fuel saving at all to make it to the end of the race. So yeah, it's an early pit, but maybe he's thinking the undercut will work for him and he can get some clear air and run some good laps. As we got another car, that's Bill Walker. Looks like he's up against the barrier. Maybe just wait for the track to clear. Yep.
Into the 3-point turn in the road. No, it's got Stevens on driver's right. Was that a little bit distraction? Oh,
no,
yeah.
That was the inside curb. Yeah, it's just, and he just says, "No, I'm going to sit right here." Was he stuck?
No. It just took him a little while to get going.
I was going to say, I thought I saw the rear tire spin like maybe he was stuck in the wall, but no, everything's good there. So yeah, we've already seen turn 1 being a pretty major issue during the race with lots of different lines and different ways to spin your car coming through there.
But there is one consistency about it. You absolutely are the nail as always. We talked about that inside curve, and drivers are taking that bit too much of it. It's really unsettling the car, but
Yep.
I mean, having said that, just see our top group all use the curb, but interestingly, using it to rotate the car more than anything.
Yeah, exactly right. I think it's exactly what it's doing, because those curbs have a tendency to, if you hit them properly, they'll kind of hook the tires and kind of pull you around. And so I think the guys who have got the higher levels of experience are making that work for them. And then Kramer, just Mr. Where did he come from? Is already up to P8. Is having a fantastic race, obviously, with Stevens with Montgomery and Stano with their spins. Obviously gave Kramer a chance to move forward. So now they've got a little bit of work to do to try and make up that gap.
I mean, 9 seconds though, Charles. I mean, I never say never, but I think that could be a little bit of a struggle. It's Kramer now our highest position climber up 12 spots. Of course, we nearly had it, the deciding factor as to whether it was going to be caused the Andres Mattoni or the David Gaspers Award for positions gained. But we were denied of that great treat for the eyes, weren't we, last week at Road America in the SRFs. But, well, maybe we might find out again tonight. You never quite... Oh, no. That's Greg Holland around. And despite that, he's still up 6 places, but largely due to race, Cathcart, Harris, Jackson, and Ray all pitting so far to get us off and running once more. Now, here we go. Bit of traffic. They're coming up onto our lead group, and that is Stevie Ray ahead of him. So it's a safe, reliable set of hands. But this is Long Beach, and well, where are they going to catch him? Where are they going to catch him? Now, Ray might do. I think.
Maybe just pull over to the right and let him go, or
I'm going to guess along shoreline, you know, the front. Well, I wouldn't say front straightaway, but you've got Bridgestone, you know, what is officially turn 1. Although no one really classes it as turn 1. Before, yeah, everyone classes that turn 1 as Toyota. So I'm going to guess probably move to one side. But this is where it's what will he do? I mean, look, instantly in a flash onto the back of them.
Yep, just moved over to the right. Said, "All right, guys, let's go. Get around, get around, so I can keep driving." So he's just going to let these guys work their way around. Very nice from Stevie. Just a couple more. We got Green and Monty there making their way around, and
they've dropped a little bit of time.
They have dropped a little bit. Yeah,
that gap nearly out to a second now.
Yeah, you know, I know, we talk about this every week. We mentioned Jason Green and his fuel-saving prowess. If there's anybody up front that could try and make this a no-stop race, it would be him. I don't know, Yangshi took a lot of that inside curve there. I don't know that that's in his mind to try and do it or not, but it'd be interesting if he did. Yeah, just kind of looking back now, we had Cathcart come in right at the start. He is 17 seconds behind Antonio Race, who was in, as we see Wobolt around. Turn 1 again. Seems like turn 1 is the trouble spot today.
It is, isn't it? I mean, this place, it's numerous danger points, but all of the incidents have come down at turn 1 today. So this is on board with him. Flicking in. Just flicks in. Weirdly, the rear. Get where's that in a minute? Well, it just seems going on entry. I don't know whether that's overheating of the tyres. Maybe. I mean, this is a bit early in the race. 15 minutes in for that to probably be a little bit of a worry.
Yeah, that does seem a little strange, and I just don't know. Maybe it's just. I'm going to have to say it may be heat related. I don't know.
So, funnily enough, I've just looked at, as you mentioned it, 26 Celsius. That is 79 freedoms. So
doesn't seem like that's awful hot. No.
I mean, it's on the mildly warm to warm spectrum, I would say.
Yeah,
Green's just lost a lot of time there.
He has.
And he was off to one side.
Yeah, I wonder if he maybe made a mistake coming through that corner, that he had to just kind of catch the car, give Monty a chance to get around him. But yeah, he's dropped down to P5 and he's lost about a second to Monty. Didn't quite see what it was. Yeah, exactly right. It's just I just keep watching. Looks like Cathcart may.
I mean, is this maybe all part of the master plan?
I don't know.
That was Lynn just clipped the ball there. I heard the crunch of suspension, and he was very close to it. I think he just clipped the ball out of Green and into the pit.
Well,
so
that solves that mystery, doesn't it? So he's coming in for his pit stop, unless he damaged his car, during his little incident that cost him a position. And he says, you know what, let me come in here and get this fast repair, go ahead and take fuel and be on my way.
Couldn't see any obvious damage, but you never quite know, do you? You never quite know. But very, very early from the American in the 160 machine as Tim Staino making even more progress once again on his charge back for the field. This is going to be Paul Stevens to take him off, to take Stevens off the podium and put Staino on as he gets it done into one. Just had to, well, position his car in such a way that on the exit that he kept hold of it, kept it out of the wall, but compromised the momentum. Stevens, who had the much better line, you know.
No!
Oh, he saves it somehow, some way. That's going to surely allow Stevens back through again, and Staino's going to have to do it all over again once more.
Yeah, that's the inside curbs there in that corner that are very, very tricky as well. They're very similar to the ones you got coming off of Shoreline Drive into that those couple of small corners before the hairpin. Just the inside curb, because, and it's not just the curbing, it's also the way the track's configured. It's kind of, you know, the inside's kind of maybe anti-cambered, so the track kind of falls away, so you're kind of leaning into that curb, into that corner, and just unsettles the car. And he did a great job of just catching the rear of it to keep it from coming around, but of course it cost him that spot. You have to reset and see if he can make that pass again.
Gassius, there's McConnell right behind him. Gassius on for second place, and it's very, very comfortably right now in that second. Race did lose that bit of time. I mean, Race, I think, is a little bit out of the equation for second place potentially here, but never say never, because Long Beach is one cruel mistresses into the pits. We have Montgomery and Walbolt. Also, well, Jacobson in the pits, but he's been sat there a little bit of a while now, so that could look like our first retirement of the day as 23 cars started. Ben Depew didn't quite make his debut, so see him in the race. It would have been a 24 car grid otherwise. Right, bit of a sit rep. Where are we at on the halfway stage of the race? Lynn leads from Norm and Cabanca. Marnie currently 4th overall, leading Masters. Gassius, who we've seen previously, 2nd, 3rd. In 8th overall is Jim Brewster in Masters. Spec 2's been led by this guy on your screen right now, Trenton Kramer. But does have, well, no, Paul Stevens from 6 seconds back in 2nd. He's 10th overall. Staino is now up to 3rd in class due to pit stops there. 12th overall, sorry, 11th overall for him. But Staino and Stevens already having a bit of a battle, so that could be swap around in the last 2 podium positions in Spec 2, but Kramer, our race pace, really coming to his own, and it's battling Spec, so Masters drivers behind him. That's Brewster and Dana Bowes, no less. They're really having a good scrap there, and that is even the last place on the podium in Masters, so that's going to be really, really interesting as well. Look at this, Kramer coming round to lap Chris Montgomery.
Wow.
No, I didn't think we'd hear or say that ever.
No.
I mean,
no,
Montgomery has pitted. That we need to reinforce that point. That is a crucial point in this argument.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why. So it looks like, if I'm reading this correctly, Chris Montgomery got a speeding on pit entry, so his pit stoppage time was 40 seconds longer than most everybody else. So that's generally what that is. So that would be why he's getting lapped. It's really going to obviously put a big jolt in what kind of recovery he's going to be able to make during this race.
And it is indeed. That it is indeed. It's Kramer out 13 spots to 7. Here we go. Oh, somebody just trying to dig it out. Here we go. Here we go. This will give us the indication. Best of hairpins. Oh, marginal, but we could be 1 or 2 miles an hour over, and that's it.
Yep, it doesn't take much. Oh no, what was that?
That was Harris.
Oh, that was Harris, and that's a toe. A little short straight here before we get on the shoreline to the back straight. Yeah. Just I think maybe.
Like Cathcart, wasn't he? Oh.
Yeah, I think so. I think maybe it was. I think maybe that was maybe just the car in front maybe broke a little harder than he expected. He had to kind of lock it up and cause the rear to come around on him, and maybe look like he was stuck in the wall. Maybe that's why he towed.
So he hit the wall in the previous corner, smoothly selling us.
Okay, well that'll do it. So another one has been sacrificed to the Long Beach track.
It's on board with Cabanca now. Norman Lane in front of us. So turn to the business game. I mean, these three clearly just ticking down the clock. Everyone happy to remain as they are. It's scary how close they get to the wall, these boys, isn't it? It's absolutely scary, but it's the fastest way around here. It really rewards the brave, this circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have to be on the limit, you know, every single lap here. You see him having to correct mid corner just to keep the rear from coming around, so to kind of open his hands up. But obviously these guys have stretched the gap out quite nicely back to Monty and P4.
Yeah, it's so scary having to have the confidence in your ability and what the car is going to do underneath you when you have to open up the steering mid-corner, knowing that you get it slightly wrong, it's a little bit too much, and bang, you're in the wall. That's it. It's game over. I'm just more happy to spin it to keep it out the wall rather than gamble on opening, as you say, opening up the steering at risk of slapping the wall on the outside.
Yeah, because those tire barriers on the outside are not really much. It still damages the car almost as much as the concrete does. It's very interesting. Those tire barriers don't have a lot of give, so you end up hitting those. I've actually put GT cars, especially in that particular corner, in that tire barrier, and the car is pretty much useless after that.
Brewster into pit road there, and Cantor in as well, and he's had a bit of an incident somewhere. This turn one. Are we going to make contact with the wall?
Oh!
No. Okay, didn't see that one coming. I didn't quite clock similar liveries who that was. Who made?
I thought it looked like Stevie Ray. It looked like Stevie Ray's livery. And just, yeah, as you can see, you make a mistake in that corner. If you've got a car trailing, there's nothing for the car can do, right? It's just, you know, all you got now is you've got a new barrier that's right in front of you, and you're, as you can see, just basically just flip the car over, and that would require a tow to get it back, because unfortunately there's no way to unflip these cars without you hit again, which is not really what you want to do during a race. So yeah, just tow the car as we see Cathcart. Oh no, let's turn one again.
Wait for a break in the traffic so he can begin the 3-point turn. Keeping an eye on his relative. Well, I thought he had backed it up enough then, but no, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was watching him because he stopped right at the start of the race. He looked like he took enough fuel to run to the end, so he wouldn't have to stop again. And if he wouldn't have done that, I think he was going to be right around that Tim Staino, Paul Stevens battle once pit cycle was done. So obviously now he's lost another at least 10 seconds, which is going to bring him that much further down the order. But it would have been interesting. He was going to come out, or when they pitted, he was going to be somewhere around there. So he would be challenging for the top of the around where the Battlefield Spec 2 class lead was. So obviously now that's probably gone by the wayside, and so now it's just going to be just how many more positions he's going to be able to recover before the end of the race. There's Nom and Cabanca.
Lynn carries on. Goes one more time here at Long Beach. 27 minutes complete. Jimmy Littbacker into the pits too. To see Dana Bowes and previously Cathcart into the pits again. Oh, goes from bad to worse on his Monday morning for the Aussie.
Yeah, pretty sad, because I think he had a chance to surprise a few people with that early stop, so that's not, it's tough to see that ending that way.
board with Lynn. Jim Brewster just in front of us. He's 13th overall right now, 15th class. Norm Kabanka have come out 6th and, well, it was 7th. But Staino and Stevens have got between Norm. Actually, Staino overtaking Norm as well. As there they are all scattered. Norm just desperately trying to play the numbers game here. Getting between himself and Stevens, who's himself desperate to stand to the back of Staino as those two scrapping away over 2nd and 3rd in Spec 2. But that was almost sort of a bit of multi-class endurance style there for me, wasn't it? In terms of, utilising a slower car, to just position them between you and just create that bit of a break and a bit of mind games and tactical awareness.
Yeah, for sure. And that's not really where those guys wanted to come out, was in the middle of a Spec 2 battle. And so now you see Nom looking to the inside. It's going to be, it's a very difficult place to pass. I mean, there's a few places. But that helps that Stevens get looping around, but, getting it righted back pretty quickly. But that clears Kabanka, so now he can move back up to the back of Nom. Nom's going to have to try and get Staino here down the front straight.
I'm sure Nom would have been praying to the racing gods to have come into the pits, but the American carries on. Nom pulls to driver's left to the textbook up the inside into turn 1, move a bit close to the wall on the exit, but he gets away with it. He's through, and he puts another car between himself and Kabanka and grows that time as well. Ironically, they're identical stops. Kabanka actually faster. His total, actually, no, apologies, 9/10 slower. Sorry, I read that the wrong way around. I only looked at the decimal places, not the actual second amount there. So yeah, 9/10 between those two, with Nom being faster by that amount as Marnie into the pits now.
And then continuing on. So he's got some pretty clear track. So this may be the overcut working to his advantage today, as everybody else has went ahead and stopped. And so he's continuing on. As you see, very, very nice line through turn 1, and as well as the fountain.
Getting some great mileage out of that car as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's carrying on to we're over the 30-minute mark, so it's going to be 31 minutes and change when he comes back around. So which is absolutely pushing it to the limit.
And to boot, he's led the entirety of this race, Charles. So it's not like he's been tucked up behind someone, sat in the draft. I know Long Beach not really a draft track, but so I think plenty of clatters of suspension there. As there goes Kabanka finally clearing Staino, your leader in Spec 2. But Staino yet to pit. McConnell yet to pit as well. We've got Kramer and Stevens both into the pits from Spec 2. And look at this green ahead. So green lost all that time, and as always, done in the pit stops, Charles. 13 seconds dead stationary for green, 16.28 for Marnie, 3.3 seconds near us, damn it. As here's our leader into pit road. Surely going to be a splash and dash, get himself home and come back out in the lead. So where is Marnie? Well, McConnell's just entering in the pits as well. We should have Staino in too this lap. So Nom coming through the S. I think he's going to be coming off Seaside. Yes, he is. There he is. About to enter the hairpin. As Lynn is pretty much done with his stop. Yes, he is. 12.67 second stop. 14.15 for Nom. I think this is going to carry Lynn all the way to victory here today from Long Beach.
I think you may be right. Just kind of seeing where we see Nom coming. There he is coming around the corner. Nope, that's not. That is not him. No, there he is. Okay, so now he's around. So yeah, great stop by Lynn. Yeah, almost 2 seconds faster than Nom stopped. And so, yeah, great pit. It's one of those, it's a really long pit stop because of the entry, which we didn't really talk about, but it's a little bit of a strange entry into the pit area, and it's a very long pit straightaway. So, Lynn's done a great job. Has extended that gap out 3.5 seconds over Nom.
And that pit exit as well. I mean, I know we're sort of, bolting the gate, shutting the gate after the horses bolted here a little bit, but it's a long run, and then it's a really that's Greg Holland around. That's onto Seaside, isn't it? Yes, it is. Yeah, it's so treacherous. You've got to really slow the car down on exit and make sure you don't cut it, because that cone on the inside, just one little clip of it, and that's it. Bang, penalty.
Yep. Yeah, it's one of those weird ones where there's it's a penalty on pit exit, and it's also a little bit. I think it's a penalty if you kind of jump over into that pit lane while you're on the racing side. I think it's one of those that you that line is almost like a wall there, an invisible wall, as we see a puff of smoke from somebody that's right there in front of Lynn. Couldn't catch who that was.
Oh, God, no, it's just Ray. I think that was a blown engine.
I think it was. Did we get a money shift from Mr. Ray? Oh yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. So
there was 5 years in that car, and he peaked there. Well, I think instead of third, I think he might have gone to first there a little bit.
Yeah, that's kind of what that looked like. I'd have to agree with that. That's what the NASCAR guys would call oil pan failure. It failed to hold the rest of the parts into the engine. So that's it for Stevie, because that is not repairable. I think that's a 40-minute repair. So even if he did that on lap 1, he's not finishing the race. So we'll continue on here with Jorg Monty trailing green, trying to make up that gap.
That early stop for the race hasn't really brought him back into the fight. 10 seconds behind these two. Marnie on for yet another victory in this so dominant season from him. Will mean that it'll be, 5 wins on the bounce in the Weekend Warriors Formula Fords. Ironically, though, of those 5, the first time he hasn't finished on the podium overall.
Yeah, exactly, and that's just.
I apologies to be 6 in a row, because he had Oran Park as well at the start of that, but because there was no overall, I didn't quite clock that in my notes. But so yeah, it'd be 6 in a row. But of those 6, it'll be the second time he's not been on the podium overall. 3 thirds and a second at Road America last week for the dominant Swiss driver. He's having the season of his life, really, isn't he?
He's having a great season. Yeah. So yeah, it's. We were talking about race not really, the early stop not really helping him. I think he might have been in that same situation that Nam and Kabanka did. He probably came out in some traffic and not as much clean air as he would have liked, because Lynn's stop was a couple of seconds faster than Nam and Kabanka. But the other part of that is, they were all basically nose to tail before the pits. So, somewhere that extra couple of seconds, the gap from Lynn to Nam came into play, and I'm sure it had to do with that traffic that Nam and Kabanka came out in with Stano and Stevens.
Ironically, Marnie's lowest position this season was 2nd place in class. That's the weekend where race won at Mo Sports, where he finished 2nd overall. In fact, of the rounds we've had this season, there's only once where a Masters driver, the Masters winner, has not been on the podium overall, and it'll be the 2nd time this evening. In fact, tonight, vast and complete and utter disaster from 1 or 2 of our drivers in front of them. Within the 3 minutes left, it's looking pretty safe. Lynn 4 seconds clear of Nom. That's a phrase I didn't think I'd hear myself saying, Charles, when we started off this one.
No, you would have thought that would have been a much tighter battle, but it just goes to show that the pit strategy plays into it, and I think Yangshi got it right. Nam not so much, and so now you see that 4.5 second gap.
A fast lap last on round as well. 0.3 of a second faster than Nom's lap. It's a big old difference. And it's also been done on track, this as well, because although Lynn had a shorter stop by about 1.5 seconds, Charles, he's currently 4.6 seconds, so he's managed to pull out 3 seconds just under racing conditions. seconds
Yeah.
to get away
Yeah.
from the Estonian.
Yeah, he's doing a great job, and Nam is, I'm sure, doing everything he can to try and make that gap up. Just it's not enough today.
What I've been really surprised by is Chris Montgomery, who, after a couple of weeks away, back once more, but not certainly you would have hoped for. 16th overall, crucially though, 6th in class. 6th after, being right up there in qualifying as well. Really disappointing from him. I think that pretty much just cements the championship to Kramer, who's on another flyer today at 5 positions in class, 10 overall, into 10th, leader in Spec 2 in the 444. It's all starting to, in soccer, to call it by your phrase, football, race for promotion in the championship, which is below the Premier League. It doesn't matter what you do for the first half season, it's all about just getting that run of form, hitting form at the right time, especially when you're chasing the playoffs.
Oh no!
Oh wow! Well, there you go.
Kramer.
There's the curse of the commentator, hitting the form at the right time, and he sticks it in the wall.
Yeah, and it's turn 1 again.
Wow. I'm so sorry, Trent Kramer. It was loose on exit tree.
Yeah, I think he misjudged the braking point there just a bit, and tried to get on him, and you saw the rear of the car just kind of squirm around under the braking, and just not enough, couldn't hit the apex, and up against the tire barrier, and that's race done.
Wow, Staino now due to go one better than he did last time out, when he had second in Road America. Also, Marnie. Oh, it's white flag in the air. Marnie around.
Marnie clipped the wall going on the entry to that corner.
Well, that's going to. Well, crucially, any damage doesn't look like it, so should be okay. And Lynn Millar walking his way to victory. 5 seconds clear of Arrow Dom here as he heads down Seaside for the last time this evening. To Firestone, Indy left, the hairpin. Just a few corners to make it through. Drifting them, trying to drift it all. Well, he's a bit loose, wasn't he, on entry? But gets away with it.
Wow, he almost hit that inside barrier, and that would have been a terrible way to finish that lap.
Yeah, talk about throwing it all the way right at the final corner. He takes victory here today. Norm in second. Must be that finish we had in IMSA at Long Beach, where there was a bit of a pile-up in GT Le Mans, and a couple of the cars, one of them picked left, and well, that blocked himself in and lost a place on the podium. I think it was for the Chevys, I think. So the Corvettes even, sorry, apologies.
Yeah. I don't know, the one that sticks out for me is always the Cadillac on the inside at turn 1, just completely blowing the corner and basically harpooning the tire barrier on the outside.
And here we go, Tim Staino. First victory of the season.
Talk about him, and he comes out here and gets the class win. Well done, Tim.
I'm just trying to finish scrambling through my notes, Charles, to see if we had. I think that is his first ever victory in the Formula Fords. I've got one more file left to check. And, oh no, I haven't got it within there. Yes, I believe that's his first ever Spec 2 victory in Formula 4. So congratulations, Tim Staino. Paul Stevens, that's a rude missed opportunity there for me, because he's going to be kicking himself, because he was right with Staino. They were battling for a while, and then obviously when Norm and Kabanka came out, got between them, and then Stevens had that one little mistake. That's what cost him a shot at victory here today.
Yeah, that's I guess the interest and the intrigue of Long Beach is, it's you have to be just almost inch perfect every lap, otherwise you're you're basically getting the car repaired and race done at any point in time. So it's one of those that you need maximum focus. And Tim Stano did just enough to keep the car. He did have a couple of little close calls, but did just enough to keep the car going in a straight line and gets the class win. And Paul Stevens will have to settle for second, but still a good result either way.
Yes, indeed. It's Yang Shilin, your winner here today. Looked like a commanding victory. Led every single lap, started on pole. And did he complete the Grand Challenge by getting the fastest lap of the race? Yes, he did. Congratulations to the Chinese driver. Aeronom second, Kabanka third, Green fourth, Marnie, your winner in Masters, fifth overall with race. Behind him, second in class, sixth. Then it's McConnell. Degassi is picking up that last podium place in Masters in eighth overall. Dana Bowes up 4 places into ninth. Tim Stano, first ever victory in Spec 2 and into the top 10 to boot for him. Stephen second in class, Brewster 12th. Then Jimmy Littbacker squeezes onto that Spec 2 podium in 12th place. Bill Walker 14th, the last driver on the lead lap. Then Chris Montgomery, a disappointing return for him. 15th place, 1 lap down. Then it was Warbolt, Trenton Kramer, only 1 lap down in the end, so get classified for that. But losing it from the lead, absolutely gutting for him after being up, I think 10 or 12 spots. Gutting. Greg Holland 18th, Cathcart and Harris running out your top 20. Jeff Jacobson, the last driver on the 1 lap behind in 21st. Then into retirement, Stevie Ray, we lost him on lap 22. Cantor, lap 16. And Ben Depew did not make the start. Now, we've got one driver sat there waiting. And I've tried looking at their Discord profile.
I believe it's Jorg.
Is it? It's got Joe at my end.
Yeah, but I clicked his picture and it does say.
Oh, there we go. I've shuffled the wrong person. Well, as that's always. Charles, over to you.
Jorg, Monty, congratulations. So Tim, our resident historian, says this is the first, you did get the class win, but it's the first time that you weren't on the overall podium. So obviously very difficult day at the track for you.
Yeah, as you have seen on the last lap, I tried to get some new paint on my car. It didn't work out, so I had to be careful not to crash a second time. But it was fun. It's not my favorite track, but yeah, till then it was quite good. I think even my pit stop was quite good. And yeah, it was actually fun. A little bit lonely in the end, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, this is a very difficult track, and I think the entire field did a good job. With avoiding a big accident. We did have, it looked like turn 1 seemed to be very tricky today for a lot of drivers. Do you have any issues with it?
No, because I actually practice it. When can I brake latest? And I found out I don't have to brake on 200, so I brake on 400, and that was almost not good enough as well. So I braked around 450 before the corner. That was okay.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, York, congratulations, and we'll see you in the next race for the SRFs.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Charles, and good evening as well to everybody, and have fun watching it.
All right. Thank you, York.
See if anyone else is going to join us. We'll quick bit of a fill, but actually no. Looking at the time, actually we could finish smack on time for a change. Normally the action, excitement, and drama runs into overtime, but no one here. Well, thank you very much for joining us. An eventful race, to say least, as always. But coming up 50 times, South and Charles will be back. Samuli won't. It'll be Josh Wilkie in the virtual production trailer. So we head to New Hampshire on the Roval. Wow, an iRacing first, no less. I'm looking forward to it. So should you. Yeah, and everyone else at home as well. 50 minutes on the channel for that one. But from myself, at Tim Cox, Charles Bashar, and Samuli, thank you very much for joining us. As the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors rolls into Laguna in a week's time for the penultimate round of the championship. We will see you then. Good night.